Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited to bring you a DIY Dollar Tree Hearth and Hand inspired farmhouse wreath. This was inspired by all of the Magnolia Farms and Hearth and Hand wreaths from Target. This is from Sarah Jane from Chic On The Cheap. Caught this on her Instagram and shared it on her Instagram technically. And the wreaths were huge and I knew immediately that I wanted to recreate one. So we're going to use a hula hoop from the Dollar Tree. The great part about that is you have your choice. If you have the space to make a really big one, then you make a really big one. If not, you do the 22-inch, okay? And I'm also going to use some duct tape. I had this. My sister gave it to me. It's camouflage. You can skip this, but I'll tell you why in a minute. Also, all of the leaves. So every time you buy a floral, I tell you guys to save the leaves. That's what we're going to use. But if you have not been saving your leaves, then you can get some greenery bushes from the Dollar Tree as well. They have ferns and of all different kinds, and they have different kinds of ivy and all these beautiful greens, which you can buy just for this purpose only. And of course, you're going to need your glue gun with a lot of glue sticks and some time. So I'll be honest with you, this was an almost 2-hour project. This was basically sit in front of the TV and do this. If you don't have 2 hours to commit, then okay. But you can walk away from it if you need to. But it was so simple. So sometimes, you know, we always talk about it could be cheap, it could be easy, it could be simple, it could be quick. You know, very rarely do the three combined that they meet together. So what we're doing is I've covered the entire wreath with duct tape because this wreath, and I don't know if you guys know from the past years, it used to be the hula hoop used to be coated in this plastic that you could peel off. This year it happens to be all coated in some tape material or the one that I picked. Maybe they're all different. So I couldn't peel it off. I tried, so I just covered it with duct tape, and I did that, and it really isn't necessary. I did that just to be safe, that if in case I'd left a holiday, the green of the camouflage duct tape would cover it up. You can get solid green duct tape from the Dollar Tree if you want to, or you can just skip this step entirely. But what I've done is I've taken all of the leaves off of all of their prospective bushes or stems or stuff. I've just laid them in a big pile and I went random. I wanted it to be 100% random. Now, the inspiration is not necessarily random. It actually looks like it's sort of like almost ferns. And then the one that I showed from Magnolia Farms is actually lamb's ears. So if you want to go either one of those routes, like I said, this is why this is inspired. This for me technically only costs me $1. Like I had to buy the wreath. Everything else I had. The leaves, I've told you I've been saving. The duct tape my sister gave me. But if you needed to buy it all even, it probably would only be a few dollars. That's what really the inspiration for this was. Now, I wanted it to be random. I specifically wanted it to be random in color. So I was going different color sizes. I almost made them in like little sections. So I would start with a big leaf and then I would go to like the next size, next size, next size until I got to a smaller bunch on the end and then repeated the pattern. They weren't all the same leaves, so it didn't create a pattern, but it was just like size-wise. It created a pattern just to have it varied. I was going to say variegated, but just to have it varied. Okay. Now, I will be honest that one of these, the long green ones, were actually I had from 97-cent tulips from Walmart, but they do sell them at the Dollar Tree that you can get any kind of simulated bulb plant will have these long leaves. I just had them, so I wasn't going to go out and invest. All right. Now, you also will need, for the options, you'll either need like the white berries or the white baby's breaths or some sort of white wildflowers, because that's really what this inspiration is. It's a large green wreath with just a splash of white here and there, and that's what makes the style of this wreath really, really work. Now, all of these materials are outdoor materials. These leaves aren't necessarily won't get faded in the sun, but they are like weatherproof. So you could, if you wanted to hang this outside, absolutely go right ahead. Maybe go to Gorilla Glue sticks instead. But I'm just repeating all the way around. Like I said, this is a fun process. This is an easy process, such an easy process, but it is a little bit time consuming. Um, I also wanted to tell you really quickly is that if you remember how we rebuilt the hydrangea a couple of years ago, if you don't, I'll try to find that video and link it in the description box down below. But basically, what we did was we took all of the florals off of their prospective stem bush, cut down all the wires, and then added them back on, so it actually looked like a whole hydrangea, as opposed to the way that they look at the Dollar Tree. You could do this also if you didn't want to glue on all these flowers, or if you wanted your wreath to be bushier. What I suggest you do is you take one of the wired stems, you cut the leaves down, you cut the stems down, and you add the leaves back, but alternate them. So basically, mix them up onto the stem, and then you can glue or wire the stem to the wreath form as well. All right, I just didn't want to do that. That would take a little bit more time than I wanted to invest. But now what I've done, just to add some fullness, is I've turned it over and I've glued some leaves on the back facing in the same direction as the original ones. So these ones are actually getting glued on sort of upside down. It's just to add a layer of fullness, just to make this not look like a hula hoop with leaves glued to it. Okay? And do it in any spots where you find that there could use some more fullness. So if you see there are some spots that have a big leaf, that I wasn't going to waste any leaves putting them behind the big leaf because you couldn't see it anyway. But I just wanted to make sure that we hid the whole hula hoop, and that's one of the great things about putting that camouflage or green duct tape down first. It is absolutely the best, I think it's the best solution, so you don't have to worry about filling it in. But if you see, I still had tons of leaves left, so I could have went and gone crazy. I really could have. So a couple of things that I have were some wildflowers from the Dollar Tree. I have a little bit of the baby's breath from the Dollar Tree, which is kind of like little styrofoam balls glued onto the ends of like little branches. And I have some of the leaves from the lilac bushes from the Dollar Tree. I initially started to put them on, but they are so small and brightly colored. To me, they do remind me of mini lamb's ears, the way that they are from the Dollar Tree. So I've saved them for the end, and I've inserted them specially by themselves. So I went around the second time on the loop with just those little tiny leaves from the lavender. And I made sure that I put them evenly spaced around the whole wreath. And one of the things that I like to do, and I know that we did this tutorial in our floral arranging videos, but I like to glue something on the left, and then when the next time it's time to glue one of those on, I like to alternate it to the right and back and forth. So it's not like all of the ivy leaves are on the outside and then all of the tulip leaves are on the inside, if you understand what I'm saying. But I like to do the same thing with that little bit of lavender, okay? And for here, we're just going to take a tiny bit of the baby's breath, and we're going to just alternate wherever we're going to put it. You can also do this with wildflowers. There was different kinds of wildflowers this year. There's also different kinds of like gypsum and Queen Anne's lace. I think we used I grabbed just a bunch of really, really neutral, light colored touches of flowers, because that's what the look of this wreath has that I wanted to emulate. Okay? So anywhere you feel like you want to put it. Of course, I was trying to space them out all over the wreath and not cluster a bunch together. But if you could see, I just take the cluster, I put a little hot glue on it, and I just tuck it under the leaves that are existing. And you're just going to glue them to them. As long as you have enough glue, it'll hold. Okay? And then when you're doing all that and you have that exactly the way you want it and you have enough going all the way around, you want to turn it over, and you want to glue on a hanger. This is just one of our regular jute hangers. This is optional. If you're going to put it over a wreath holder, you don't need to do that. And that's it. I think that this is absolutely stunning. I love the variation in the color, but it still has that same look from the inspiration. So hopefully you really do too. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family. Anybody you might want to be inspired to make one of these of their own. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye.